All right, welcome back to the channel. Max Tornow here. We're here in one of our offices, and in this video, we'll be talking about manual lead gen. And don't worry if you don't know what manual lead gen is. What I'm basically going to talk about here is the by far best and simplest model to start getting your first clients if you're starting completely from scratch as an online coach or as an online service provider. A lot of people email me or they send me a DM on Instagram and they ask me just that. Hey, I want to become an online coach or an online service provider, but I have no experience in business, no experience in marketing whatsoever. What's the best, leanest, easiest model to get started? And I always tell them, it's manual lead generation. Well, what is manual lead generation? Well, manual lead generation is basically something where you don't need ads, okay? You don't need marketing, you don't need to have a lot of experience. You simply, it's an extremely simple concept. You simply find people that you can help, right? What we call the target audience. Find those people online and literally directly message them. That can be people in a certain forum, that can be people in a certain Facebook group, can be people on a certain, LinkedIn, Instagram, and you literally reach out to them. And if you know exactly what to write in that initial message, then you can easily get them on a simple phone call. On that phone call, you show them that you can really help them, you give them an offer, and that is how you can make your first clients. This is, by the way, literally what we teach people that are beginners, okay? If people come into our programs, they want us to mentor them, this is what we teach them first, manual lead generation. And it is very interesting, I'll tell you that more about that in a second. With that model, you can easily get to your first 4 to 5 figures a month. Right? And I'm going to tell you why that is so. What are the underlying constructs between that and what makes it actually work so easily? The first point that I want to talk about here is it has no costs. All right. Many people try to build a marketing campaign, they copy that from somewhere, and then they throw ads on that and they spend money on ads, but they have no expertise in ads. They don't know what works, and they literally lose money. And funny enough, a lot of people try to copy our stuff. There's so many copycats out there right now trying to copy what we're doing, but without actually having a solid foundation and the understanding, you're just copying the surface and it doesn't work. Right? And that's exactly the same thing. Why we're saying, okay, focus on manual lead gen first, because you don't need any costs and thusly you have no risk. All right. The only cost that there is you invest your time into that to build that solid foundation. That is totally fine. Okay. Most people say like, oh, but I want to have passive income right away. Where is the free and passive income? Well, you can get there once you scale your business, but anything that is passive income only works properly if you have a solid foundation, and that solid foundation is manual lead generation. If you do it right with proper positioning, proper niche offer, you can actually make your first 4 to 5 figures within a couple weeks. Okay, maybe we could show some testimonials here. Many of our clients get to that point. If they pay attention properly, if they execute the exact path that we give them, they can easily make their first 4 to 5 figures with nothing else but literally only manual lead generation. And that's a very great thing. Now, does that mean that you instantly get there after a couple of weeks guaranteed and every client of ours gets there? No, of course not. It depends on how well you execute. It depends on how well you pay attention. It depends on how quickly you find what it is that you want to be coaching and so on and so forth. But it is definitely possible. And even if it's not possible, you can get it after a couple more weeks, right? But the point that I'm trying to make here is get away from thinking you need to have an elaborate funnel. Get away from thinking you need to read 4 books on marketing. You don't need to read any books. You do not need to know what a goddamn funnel is. Most of our clients that make their first 4 to 5 figures with literally nothing but manual lead gen don't even have a website yet. Okay, because these things all cost money to set up in the beginning. Keep those things lean, set up a solid foundation, show that you have a proof of concept via actually generating closes, generating your first money with manual lead gen, and then you can build upon that, okay? Like I said, you don't need to have any experience. That's the next big point. If you have 0 business experience, you've never had a business, you never sold anything, you don't know what a funnel is or how a funnel works, you can still start making your own first money with manual lead generation. Right? On a side note, if you want to dive a little bit deeper on the type of content that you see here on our YouTube channel, we have a very great podcast. Our head strategy and sales coach, Nikita Gunkovic, and myself, we've created a podcast. If you feel like the YouTube stuff is a little bit too surface level, you want to dive a little deeper, go check out our podcast. We're going to show the URL here. We're going to put the URL down in the description as well. We've been getting very, very great feedback. People say it's very informative, but also very entertaining. So I highly recommend you checking the podcast out. It's very, very great. Now, the next point that I want to talk about here is it's a solid foundation for scaling. I mentioned this before already. So many people try to get to in some sort of get money quick schemes. They listen to the gurus and they want to build a funnel and they want to build a brand, and they head out there and they're literally wasting weeks, months, sometimes literally years of their time building a brand, building a funnel. They haven't made a single sale yet, meaning they don't even have a real business. They have a toy business, how we call it internally. They haven't done anything and they just procrastinate. But what you got to understand is you don't need these things. Okay, these things are something that you build upon a foundation. Okay, so usually what happens is we tell our clients to get to their first 10K a month, right? That's like the solid foundation. That is the very, very first baseline that they have to get to, the very first milestone. And once they make their first 10K, they have a proof of concept that what they offer works, that they can actually convert. That is also key, because even if you have ads and you have funnels and people signing up for a free consulting call with you, or whatever it is, if you don't know how to convert that, you're literally not only wasting time and energy, but also money if you're wasting that on ads. So you gotta understand it, that whenever you want to run ads or you want to have a brand, you have to have that solid foundation. If you know how to reach out to people with zero and you're making your first money from that, you get into your first 4 to 5 figures, then you prove to yourself that what you offer is something that people need, that you can actually close these people and you can actually give them proper results. That's a solid foundation, and then upon that you can say, now let's build a little small niche brand to that, right? Many of our clients have a small niche brand. That is what we're teaching them in terms of scaling once they get their first 5 figures. And that small niche brand is not a gigantic 1 million follower niche brand. These are sometimes small channels under 5,000 subscribers that actually make more money and profit for them than most people out there with 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, because they have that very solid foundation first. It is very often the case that influencers reach out to us with gigantic brands, million-plus followers, and they say, I'm not making any money from that. And it's funny because on the other extreme, we have those clients that we've helped build a small niche brand with 5,000 followers, and they're actually outselling the big influencers, because the influencers went brand first and then money. But what we always teach is money first, then brand. Because that way you're able to position yourself properly. That way you're already making money as you're building your brand, which is a very nice thing to have, if you ask me. And also that helps you identify the proper target audience that can actually afford your services later on. So you may have less followers, but these followers are not whack. Okay, they're not fanboys that don't execute. They're people that are serious about getting results. They're serious about you. And also with targeting these type of people, you can build a legit business. Okay. Yeah, last but not least, and this is something that is often underestimated, if you focus on manual lead gen in the beginning, not only do you have no cost, not only do you have no risk, not only is it a solid foundation upon which everything else is built, but also the skills that you're building can help you in your private life as well as your business life for a very, very, very long time to come. Proper communication, proper DMing, proper sales, proper understanding of your target audience, proper empathy. All these things are so important. And again, I'm bashing influencers so much because it's very sad, because they have so much potential that they're just leaving out. This is something that influencers are often lacking, like the basic knowledge of how to run a business, how to communicate with a prospect, are completely lost because they've just been focusing on just getting their numbers up in terms of followers and likes and stuff like that, instead of actually building a solid foundation. Granted, the goal is often different. When you're an influencer, not many people actually build it with the goal of building a business and making money, but nonetheless. So when you learn to do manual lead gen, it might be a little frustrating in the beginning because you don't have a cool funnel, or you don't have a cool website, or you don't have cool followers. But at the same time, it is the solid, boring foundation that you want to have. Okay, I've said this many times. If you want to build a legitimate business that can last a lifelong, it's not a great fun process. It's a boring, mundane process. But the way we teach it to our clients, it works. Okay, I can proudly say, I can admit that it's boring, but at the very least, I can also proudly say that it works. Okay, some people it takes a couple weeks, some people it takes a little longer, but at the end of the day, it works, and that's a very, very great thing. That is why this thing called manual lead gen is by far the best model to start as an online coach, as an online service provider. You can make money faster, okay? You build a solid foundation. It has no risks. It has no costs. If you do it right, you can see results fairly fast. You don't need any experience in marketing. You don't need to be a business experienced person. It's a solid foundation for everything else. And of course, these skills that you accumulate can help you for a lifetime, both in your private life as well as in your business life. So when you say this sounds great, I do want to get started, Max, can you help me get started? I don't want to do it alone. Then we got something very interesting for you. You can book a free consultation call with me directly or with an expert from our team. There's a link down in the description. You click that link and then you can book a free consulting call. The way this works is you click that link and then it brings you to a page. I want you to read what's on that page. Okay, show that you're serious about that by being able to read through a page for 10 minutes. At the bottom of that page, you can fill out the application. Takes you 1 or 2 minutes to fill that out. And then you can book the exact date and time where you want us to call you. Now that call is entirely for free. On that call, we'll basically be working hand in hand together with you, developing a strategy on how you in your specific situation can get started, all right? Even if you have zero business experience, even if you don't know what exactly it is that you could be offering people, we can analyze your strengths. We know we know what model works best for you. We know exactly how the market looks like, and so on and so forth. If you already have a skill, you want to learn how to monetize it, that call obviously is also for you. And even if you're already making some money with your skill, but you want to do it more legitimate, you want to do it in an easier way, you want to scale it, that call is for you as well. And obviously, on that call, we'll also see if and how exactly we can help you, maybe over long term, if that is what you wish. Right? That being said, a link is in the description. We have limited spots. Okay, we don't just give these calls to anybody. We do have limited spots. So my recommendation is you book it as soon as you can. If you're serious about this, and then maybe talk to you very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.
For more than a year, I've been a stay-at-home mom. The idea of going back to a 9-to-5 job, it did not resonate with me, and I knew I wanted to become a life coach, but I didn't have the proper guidance. So I came across Max and Freedom Business Mentoring. I decided to go for it. So after about 8 weeks in the program, I got my first client, and a few days ago, I got my second client, and the feeling for me was just out of this world. I never thought I would be able to do it this fast, but in the end, when I think back, it just takes a good system and good mentorship.